Happening, everybody. It's Jeff Lightsy Jr. with the Ball Sports Network. Thank you guys for the continued support. Continue to hit the like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell because I upload videos every single day. Now, the NFL is experiencing its first COVID-19 outbreak. The Tennessee Titans are the team that seems to have a bunch of guys, whether 4 players, 5 personnel, that have tested positive for COVID-19. Now, that doesn't mean the end of the world, but the question is, what do the Titans do next? Or what does the NFL do, right? Like, how will this, halt, will procedures change, or will this halt games, or what the hell will happen because guys for the Titans have gotten COVID? I'm going to tell you what's going to do. Nothing is going to happen. The NFL is going to play every game as scheduled. Nothing's going to change. Now, the Titans and the Steelers game, which is scheduled for this weekend, has been postponed and won't be played on Sunday. It'll either be played on Monday night, we'll get an extra Monday night game, or we will get a Tuesday night game, which is something we don't get very often. But regardless of the fact, this game is going to be played this week or next week. Or you know what I mean? Like, this game's going to get played. It's not going to get delayed. It's not going to get pushed back a week or 2 weeks or whatever. Like, this game's going to get played. Because here's the thing, the NFL has gotten a chance, since they don't get a chance to play in a bubble like the NBA or like National Hockey League or whatever, they'll do the same thing that Major League Baseball did. Major League Baseball had a couple of COVID outbreaks during their season. They're in their rapid 65 game season that they're now in the playoffs. But what did they do? They didn't stop the presses. They didn't cancel the season. They didn't do anything outrageous or ridiculous. They just made those teams quarantine. Those teams played a few less games than other teams. And guess what? Nothing changed. Now we're in playoff baseball, and it's like nothing's happened. You forgot that happened when baseball started. I think it was the Marlins and it was the Cardinals that had like these COVID outbreaks, and everybody was like scared and thought the season might end, and all this hoopla around like the Cardinals and the Marlins and how it was just so bad that they contracted COVID. But in reality, nothing bad happened. The guys got sick. They didn't die. They recovered, I assume, because there's been no talk. The guys for the Marlins did the same, got sick, recovered, and everything was fine. That'll be the same for the Titans. And in the Titans' case, it wasn't like it was a big-time starter. It wasn't a quarterback. It wasn't a left tackle. It wasn't a corner. It was a long snapper. From the reports that I've read, it was a long snapper. It was like a dude on the practice squad. Or a couple dudes on the practice squad and a defensive end. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't much of nothing. And obviously personnel, but not to say one person is more important than the other. We want to make sure everybody gets healthy, but nothing is going to happen from this. The NFL prepared for this. This was the inevitable. We've had 7 million people in the country get COVID. It just would happen. So you knew with 32 teams, with 53-man rosters and expanded practice squad teams, that somebody and a staff of 30 people or whatever, somebody on some team was going to get COVID. 32 teams times all those amount of people, somebody's going to get COVID. Like, it was inevitable. It doesn't surprise anyone. But operations should not stop. Operations won't stop. The Titans and the Vikings, who they played on Sunday, aren't allowed to go back to their facilities until Friday or Saturday, and they'll play their games. The Vikings are still scheduled to play on Sunday. They haven't released any names or any people that got COVID. And the Titans will do the same on Monday or Tuesday. It's nothing. COVID is not a deal breaker. We figured out that we can play through it. We can't use the NBA as an example because they had a bubble. But with Major League Baseball, we figured out that, hey, this doesn't have to ruin our season. And the NFL is doing the same. And we knew the NFL wasn't going to let COVID ruin their season. Let me know your thoughts on the Titans and their COVID experiment, and should everybody just take a deep breath, woosah, and allow the games to be played? Once again, I'm Jeff Lightsy Jr. with the Ball Sports Network. I'll see you guys next time.